chosen one. Are you tired of waking up wondering if God forgot to call your name? Have you been praying the same prayer for so long that even you stopped believing it? Do you lie awake at night thinking, maybe I already missed my moment? Stop right there. What I'm about to tell you isn't just another message about faith and patience. This is a divine interruption, a sacred collision between your desperation and heaven's declaration. If you're over 60, maybe 70, maybe even 80, and you feel like life left without you while you were just trying to survive, listen to me very carefully. December 16th, 17th, and 18th are not random days on your calendar. They are marked in blood in heaven's ledger. And if you ignore what I'm about to reveal, it may cost you the very breakthrough you've been begging God for. I don't know if you're sitting in a quiet kitchen right now with your coffee getting cold, or lying in bed unable to sleep because the weight on your chest won't let you rest. But you didn't find this message. This message found you. And there's a reason your finger stopped scrolling right here, right now. There's a 3-day window on God's calendar that keeps showing up in your life. Something always happens around this time of year: loss, confusion, unexpected doors slamming shut, but you never understood why. By the time we reach the end of this message, you'll finally understand why heaven kept circling these dates, and what happens if you brush them off like every other day. Before we go deeper, I want to pause and thank every single one of you who has supported this message through Super Thanks. Your generosity means more than you know. You're not just donating, you're helping spread light to others who feel alone in their calling. Whether you give or not, I'm deeply grateful for your presence here. Your support, your time, your attention, it all matters. And if this message resonates with your soul, go ahead and let the Spirit lead your heart. But right now, if your body feels older but your spirit refuses to retire, if your bank account says one thing but your faith whispers another, if you've been betrayed by people you trusted and overlooked by a world that worships youth, this word is for you. Don't click away. Your whole next season might be tied to the next 60 minutes. Type in the comments right now, "I won't miss my date again." Because ignoring a prophetic date doesn't make it disappear. It just means someone else walks into what had your name on it. This is not fear-mongering. This is a warning wrapped in mercy. You've had a letter in your mailbox for years, marked urgent, but you never opened it. December 16th, 17th, and 18th. That's your final notice. How many years have you been telling yourself? Maybe next year. How many mornings have you woken up thinking, I've already missed my moment? How many nights have you laid in that bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering if God penciled you in and then erased your name? Let me tell you something that's going to shake everything you thought you knew about time, about destiny, about the way heaven operates. God doesn't do random. He doesn't do whenever you feel like it. He doesn't operate on your retirement schedule or your doctor's appointment calendar. God does appointments, divine appointments, and some of those appointments are marked in blood-red ink with your name written beside them. You see, beloved, there's a difference between time and timing. The world runs on clocks and calendars, but heaven runs on kairos moments, appointed times when eternity crashes into your everyday life and everything shifts. And if you miss that moment, if you're too busy, too skeptical, too tired to show up, someone else walks into the blessing that had your name on it. Think about Sarah. Genesis 21:2 tells us plain as day. Sarah became pregnant and bore a son to Abraham in his old age, at the very time God had promised him. At the very time. Not a day early. Not a week late. At the appointed hour, heaven moved. Sarah was 90 years old. 90. But when God's calendar said now, her body had no choice but to obey. Or consider Jesus himself. How many times did he say, "My hour has not yet come"? He walked this earth with a divine countdown clock ticking in his spirit. John 7:6. My time is not yet here. He knew. He understood that there are moments heaven has circled, and you cannot force them open before their time, and you cannot keep them open past their expiration. God doesn't schedule appointments based on your convenience. He schedules them based on His purpose. Now I want you to picture something with me. Imagine heaven's control room. There's a massive wall calendar stretching across eternity, and on that calendar, certain dates glow red. Your birthday? That was circled before your mother even knew she was carrying you. The day you almost died but didn't. Marked. The moment you should have given up but somehow found strength to take one more step. Circled in red with your name beside it. And December 16th, 17th, and 18th? Those 3 days are circled. They've been circled for you before you ever felt the weight of this season pressing on your chest. But here's what breaks my heart, and listen closely, because this is where most people lose everything. You wouldn't dare miss your appointment with Social Security, would you? You show up on time because your check depends on it. You don't miss your doctor's appointment because your health depends on it. But when heaven circles a date for your spiritual breakthrough, for your divine restoration, for the very thing you've been crying out for in the middle of the night, you treat it like just another Tuesday. Some of you are sitting there right now carrying regret so heavy it's crushing your lungs. You feel like you missed your chance 20, 30, maybe even 40 years ago. There was that moment, you remember it clear as yesterday, when God whispered, "Go," and you said, "Not yet." When He said, "Speak," and you stayed silent. When He said, "Trust me," and you chose safe instead of sacred. And now you're 72 years old, living on a fixed income, watching your body betray you one joint at a time, and you've convinced yourself that ship has sailed. That door closed. That your season passed while you were busy surviving. But what if, and stay with me here, what if God scheduled one last window, one final 3-day opening to restore what you thought was gone forever? What if December 16th, 17th, and 18th aren't just dates on your wall calendar, but a divine reset button for everything the enemy stole, everything you surrendered, everything you buried under the weight of just getting by? The Israelites had appointed times, feast days they couldn't ignore. The Day of Atonement, Passover. Miss those, and you miss the covering, the deliverance, the very presence of God moving through the camp. This wasn't suggestion, this was survival. You think it's different now? You think because you live in America in 2024 that heaven operates on your time zone, your schedule, your "I'll get to it when I feel ready" mentality? Ecclesiastes 3:1 says it plain. There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time, not whenever, not eventually. A specific, appointed, non-negotiable window when heaven says, "This is your moment. Show up or lose it." Right now, and I mean right this second, I need you to do something. Don't just listen. Act. Grab a pen, grab your phone, open your calendar app. Write down these 3 dates. December 16, December 17, December 18. That simple act, that small, seemingly insignificant gesture, is your first signal to heaven that you're paying attention. That you're not going to let this moment slip past you like all the others. Because in just a few minutes, I'm going to tell you exactly what not to do on these 3 days. I'm going to reveal the silent mistakes that cause most people to stand right in front of their breakthrough and never recognize it. The traps that look like wisdom but are actually sabotage. The voices that sound like logic but are straight from the pit of hell, designed to keep you comfortable in your cage. But first, you need to understand something that will determine whether you receive what's coming or whether you watch it pass you by like a train you were too afraid to board. What if the unease you've been feeling, that restlessness, that sense that something's shifting, what if that's not anxiety? What if that's heaven preparing you for the appointment you've been waiting your whole life to keep? Let me ask you something, and I need you to be honest with yourself right now. How many times has God whispered your name and you pretended you didn't hear it? How many times has heaven knocked on your door and you hid in the back room hoping it would go away? How many divine appointments have you cancelled because you were too tired, too busy, or too broken? Let's stop pretending. You and I both know the truth. You've been running from the very thing you've been praying for. And I'm not here to condemn you, I've been there too. But if we're going to talk about December 16th, 17th, and 18th, we need to talk about why you've missed every other divine appointment God has tried to schedule with you. The devil can't cancel God's date with you. He doesn't have that kind of authority. But here's what he can do. He can distract you from it. And beloved, he's been using the same playbook on you for decades, and you keep falling for it. Every single time heaven calls, hell sends you a spam call at the same time. Think about it. You're about to sit down and pray, really pray, and suddenly your daughter calls with drama about her marriage. You're about to step into something God has been preparing you for, and out of nowhere your back goes out. You're finally ready to believe again, and the news fills your living room with fear about the economy, your health, your future. You've picked up the spam call every single time and let the real call go to voicemail. Let me paint you a picture that might sting a little. It's Sunday morning. You wake up and something in your spirit says, "Go to church today. Something's waiting for you there." But then your knee hurts. The weather looks bad. You've got laundry piling up. And you think, maybe next week. But next week becomes next month. Next month becomes next year. And that next year has been repeating like a broken record for the last decade. You helped everyone else, didn't you? You raised everyone else's kids. You bailed everyone else out. You showed up for every family crisis, every friend's emergency, every neighbor who needed a hand. But when it was your turn, when heaven said, "Now it's time for you," you were suddenly too tired, too old, too late. You sacrificed your moment for everyone else's comfort. And now you're sitting here wondering why your breakthrough never came. Here's what breaks my heart. You think God moved on without you. You think because you missed the last appointment, you're disqualified from this one. You think your hesitation cancelled your calling. But that's the lie the enemy wants you to believe. Because if he can keep you convinced you already missed it, you won't show up for what's coming. Listen to what Jesus said in Matthew 22:14. "Many are called, but few are chosen." You know why few are chosen? Not because God plays favorites, but because few actually show up when he calls. Few are willing to ignore the spam and answer the real call. God did not keep breath in your lungs this long, just so you could die with what he put inside you still locked up. Let that sink in for a moment. You're still here. After everything you've been through, the losses, the betrayals, the disappointments, the diagnoses, you're still breathing. You think that's an accident? You think you survived all of that just to fade quietly into the background? The enemy has been working overtime to convince you that these 3 days in December are just like every other day. He wants you to scroll past this message. He wants you to dismiss this as just another YouTube video. He wants you to think, "This probably isn't for me anyway." But your spirit knows better, doesn't it? Something in you stirred the moment you saw this video. Something ancient and eternal recognized the sound of heaven's voice calling your name again. And the enemy is terrified that this time, you might actually answer. You know what Proverbs 29:18 says? "Where there is no vision, the people perish." You've been perishing, beloved, not physically, but spiritually. You've been dying one ignored appointment at a time. Every time you said maybe later to God, a piece of your destiny went dormant. Every time you chose comfort over calling, you buried another dream. But God is merciful. He's giving you another chance. December 16th, 17th, 18th, 3 days, 72 hours. One final notice before the opportunity passes to someone else who's willing to show up. And I need you to hear this clearly. Ignoring a prophetic date doesn't make it disappear. It just means someone else walks through the door that had your name on it. Somewhere in America right now, there's another senior citizen who's desperate enough, broken enough, tired enough of missing God that they'll treat these 3 days like the most sacred appointment of their entire life. Will that be you? Or will you do what you've always done, acknowledge the call but never answer it? So, what happens if, for the first time in your life, you treat these 3 days like the most serious appointment you've ever had with God? What if you ignore the spam calls, silence the distractions, and show up with everything you've got left? I'm about to show you. But first, I need to know you're ready. If you know you've ignored God's nudge before, if you recognize your own pattern in what I just said, don't just sit there. Write in the comments right now, this time, I'm showing up. Because heaven is watching to see who's tired of missing their moment. And what I'm about to reveal next will show you exactly what's waiting for you on the other side of obedience. Listen to me carefully, beloved. What I'm about to show you will shatter everything you thought you knew about God's timing. You see, the enemy has convinced you that breakthrough takes years, that transformation is slow, that at your age, change is impossible. But that's a lie straight from the pit of hell. God doesn't work on your timeline. He works in patterns, divine patterns, and the most powerful pattern in all of Scripture is the 3-day window. Think about Jonah, swallowed by a great fish, sitting in darkness, convinced his life was over. 3 days. That's all it took. 3 days of surrender in the belly of that beast, and on the 3rd day, God spat him out onto dry land with a fresh assignment. Jonah 1:17 tells us plainly, Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. 3 days between rebellion and redemption. But here's what breaks my heart. Jonah could have stayed in that fish longer. He could have refused to surrender. He could have said, I'm too old, too tired, too far gone. But he didn't. And on the 3rd day, everything changed. Now look at Jesus. Crucified on Friday, dead and buried. Saturday came and the disciples wept, convinced it was over. They thought they'd missed their moment, wasted 3 years following a man who ended up in a tomb. But Sunday morning, the 3rd day, death couldn't hold him, the grave couldn't contain him, hell couldn't keep him. Matthew 27:63 records the Pharisees themselves saying, After 3 days I will rise again. 3 days between the worst pain and the greatest victory in human history. Do you see the pattern? 3 days where heaven is loud, but you must be still. Think about Saul on the Damascus road, blinded by the glory of God, unable to see, unable to eat, unable to function. Acts 9:9 says, For 3 days he was blind, and did not eat or drink anything. 3 days of absolute surrender. 3 days of his old identity dying. 3 days of spiritual surgery. And on the 3rd day, Ananias laid hands on him, scales fell from his eyes, and Saul became Paul, the greatest apostle who ever lived. What if I told you that December 16th, 17th, and 18th are your 3-day window? What if these aren't just random dates on a calendar, but a divine surgery appointment booked specifically for you? You see, these 3 days are like a surgical room reserved in heaven with your name on the door. The anesthesia is ready. The instruments are sterilized. The great physician is scrubbed in and waiting. But if you don't show up for surgery, you stay sick, you stay bound, you stay exactly where you are. And here's the urgency that should grip your soul right now. By the time you're 60, 70, 80 years old, you don't have time to waste on 10-year plans. You don't have decades to wait for breakthrough. Your body is reminding you every morning that time is precious. Your bones ache. Your energy fades faster. The mirror shows you a truth you can't ignore. But God, listen to me, God compresses processes into short windows because of His mercy. What took others 10 years of wandering, God can accelerate into 3 days of obedience. What should have required a lifetime of therapy, God can heal in 72 hours of surrender. What seemed impossible at your age, God can birth in one prophetic weekend. This is not about age, beloved. This is about availability. Moses was 80 when God called him to the burning bush. Abraham was 99 when God renewed his covenant. Sarah was 90 when she conceived the impossible. Your birth certificate is not God's limitation. Your obedience is His activation. But here's what the enemy doesn't want you to know. These 3-day windows are rare. They're not every week. They're not every month. They're appointed, marked, circled in heaven's calendar with divine precision. And when they arrive, you have a choice. Show up or stay stuck. Surrender or stay sick. Step in or step over your destiny. I'm talking to the grandmother who's been praying for her prodigal grandson for 20 years. I'm talking to the grandfather who's carried financial shame his whole life. I'm talking to the widow who's been asking God if her purpose died with her husband. I'm talking to every senior saint who's been told to step aside when God is saying step forward. What if December 16th, 17th, and 18th are the 3 days that change your entire bloodline? What if your obedience in this 72-hour window breaks generational curses that have plagued your family for a century? What if the surgery God wants to perform on your spirit in these 3 days determines whether you leave a legacy of breakthrough or a legacy of what if? The pattern is clear. The window is open. The appointment is set. But you have to show up. So how do you practically show up for this divine surgery? What do you do, and what do you absolutely avoid on December 16th, 17th, and 18th? Because, beloved, showing up isn't just about being awake. It's about being prepared. It's about positioning your spirit to receive what heaven is ready to release. And what I'm about to tell you next could be the difference between stepping into your greatest season or missing the most important appointment of your life. You know what breaks my heart? It's the voice I hear whispered in the dark corners of America's living rooms. It's the secret prayer that escapes your lips when no one else is listening. God, I'm tired. I'm alone. I missed it. I'm just waiting for heaven now. Dear one, I know you've been sitting in that chair watching your friends' names appear in obituaries more often than on your phone screen. I know what it feels like when your own children are too busy to call, when your grandkids look at you like you're a relic from another world they don't understand. I know about the pills lined up on your kitchen counter, the walker in the corner that you hate, the fear that grips you at 3 a.m., wondering if you'll become a burden to the people you raised. But what if I told you that everything you think is ending is actually just beginning? Listen to me carefully. There's a battle raging over your later years that most people don't see. The enemy has been whispering a narrative to you for decades, and it goes like this. You're done. Your time has passed. Your body is failing. Your best days are behind you. Just fade quietly into the background and wait for Jesus to take you home. That is a lie straight from the pit of hell. You see, the devil doesn't fear your youth. He fears your age. He doesn't tremble at your strength. He trembles at your endurance. He's not afraid of how fast you can run. He's terrified of the fact that you're still standing after everything he threw at you. Think about trees for a moment. When a storm comes, which trees fall first? The young ones. The pretty ones with shallow roots. They look impressive, but they can't handle the wind. But that old oak tree in your backyard, the one that's been there since before you were born, that tree has survived hurricanes, droughts, lightning strikes, and decades of seasons trying to kill it. Its roots run so deep into the earth that hell itself couldn't pull it out. You are that oak tree, beloved. You are not a broken leftover. You are not God's forgotten experiment. You are a seasoned warrior with roots the devil has been trying to destroy for 70, 80, 90 years, and he has failed every single time. Psalm 92:14 declares, "They will still bear fruit in old age, they will stay fresh and green." Not might bear fruit, not used to bear fruit, will bear fruit. Present tense, active, alive, dangerous. You want to know why the enemy works so hard to convince you that you're useless? Because you carry decades of wisdom he is absolutely terrified you might finally use. You've seen enough to know that God keeps his promises. You've walked through enough valleys to know he never leaves. You've survived enough storms to know that what the world calls impossible, God calls Tuesday. And December 16th, 17th, and 18th, the enemy wants you silent, numb, scrolling through Facebook, and exhausted during those days, because he knows something you're just beginning to remember. He knows that if you actually engage with God during that prophetic window, if you actually step into the authority you've been carrying in secret, generations will shift, bloodlines will break free, Strongholds that have stood for decades will crumble. But here's what you need to understand with every fiber of your being. If hell could kill you, you'd already be dead. Let that sink in. The fact that you are still here, at this age, watching this message, on these specific dates approaching, is not coincidence. It's not luck. It's not just good genes or modern medicine keeping you alive. It is proof, undeniable proof, that God is not done with you. He is just now getting to the part of the story where your life makes sense. Every heartbreak that didn't break you was training. Every betrayal that should have destroyed you was preparation. Every night you cried yourself to sleep wondering if anyone saw you, if anyone cared, if your life even mattered. God was taking notes, recording every tear, storing up every prayer, building something inside you that this generation desperately needs but doesn't know how to ask for. You think you're waiting to die? No, beloved. Death has been waiting for permission to take you, and God keeps saying, not yet. Not until they understand who they are. Not until they step into December 16th, 17th, and 18th fully awake. Moses was 80 when God called him to deliver a nation. 80. Society would have put him in a nursing home, but God said, now you're ready, now you've seen enough. Now you know that miracles don't come from your strength, but from my presence. You are not crazy for still believing. You are not foolish for still hoping. You are not delusional for sensing that something more is coming. You are chosen. You are marked. You are the answer to prayers that were prayed before you were born. Right where you are, I want you to say something out loud. Don't just think it, speak it into the atmosphere. Say, I am not done, God is just getting started with me. Say it again, louder this time. And if you can, put it in the comments below. Let heaven and hell both see it written. Because what you declare with your mouth during this season will determine what manifests in your life during December 16th, 17th, and 18th. But there's something else you need to know about these dates. Something that will explain why they keep appearing in your life, why certain things always seem to happen around this time of year. And what I'm about to reveal will change everything you thought you understood about divine timing. Listen to me very carefully, chosen one. These 3 days are not suggestions, they are not recommendations, they are divine assignments wrapped in mercy. And how you navigate December 16th, 17th, and 18th will determine whether you step into your breakthrough or watch it pass you by like every other opportunity you thought you had. I'm going to give you 2 lists. One will protect you, one will position you, and I need you to treat both with the seriousness of a doctor's orders because your spiritual life depends on it. What not to do? The danger list. First, do not reconnect with people God already pulled you away from. In these 3 days, something strange is going to happen. People from your past, people you haven't heard from in months, maybe years, are suddenly going to remember you exist. An old friend will text out of nowhere, a family member who abandoned you will call. Someone who hurt you will reach out with fake kindness wrapped in manipulation. This is not coincidence, this is warfare. The enemy knows what's about to happen in your life, and he's sending back the very people God removed to distract you, drain you, and derail you. If God fired them from your life, don't you dare rehire what heaven removed. Proverbs 26:11 says it plainly. As a dog returns to its vomit, so fools repeat their folly. Some doors God closed for your protection. Don't pick the lock. Second, do not complain or rehearse your pain out loud. Your words during these 3 days carry weight you cannot see. Every complaint you speak is building a monument to your misery instead of a gateway to your miracle. Every time you rehearse what went wrong, who hurt you, how hard life has been, you're speaking your future into existence. James 3:5 warns us, "The tongue is a small part of the body, but it makes great boasts. Consider what a great forest is set on fire by a small spark." Your words in these 72 hours are either building your miracle or bulldozing it. Choose wisely. Third, do not make fear-based financial decisions. Don't sign anything big. Don't panic spend your last dollars. Don't bury what little you have left in fear, because the bills look bigger than your bank account. Fear wants you to act from scarcity, but God is about to move from abundance. In these 3 days, the enemy will try to pressure you into desperation decisions. A bill will come due. An unexpected expense will hit. You'll feel the squeeze. But Matthew 6:26 reminds us, "Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they?" Hold steady. Don't move from panic. Wait for God's instruction. Fourth, do not numb yourself with television, news, or endless scrolling. Hell wants you distracted so you can't hear the whisper you've been praying to hear for years. Every hour you spend numbing your mind with noise is an hour you're unavailable for the divine conversation that's trying to break through. Turn off the TV, put down the phone, disconnect from the chaos. Because if you're too busy consuming everyone else's drama, you'll miss your own deliverance. What to do? The obedience list. Now listen closely, because this is where you position yourself for breakthrough. First, set 3 daily appointments with God, morning, midday, and night. Even if it's just 10 or 15 minutes each. In the morning, start with gratitude. Read 1 Psalm. Let His word settle in your spirit before the world gets loud. At midday, find a quiet place, no phone, no distractions, and just listen. Don't talk, just sit in His presence. Psalm 5:3 says, "In the morning, Lord, you hear my voice. In the morning I lay my requests before you and wait expectantly." These 3 appointments are not optional. They are your spiritual oxygen. Second, write down 3 specific things you want God to shift before the end of the year. 1 in your health, 1 in your family, 1 in your finances or calling. Be specific, not vague prayers like, "Bless me," write it down. "I need my blood pressure under control. I need my daughter to call me back. I need $2,000 to catch up on rent." Habakkuk 2:2 says, "Write the vision, make it plain on tablets, so he may run who reads it." God honors specificity. Write it, speak it, believe it. Third, speak a declaration aloud each day. Words have power. Every morning of December 16th, 17th, and 18th, I want you to stand up even if your knees hurt and declare this out loud. On these 3 days, I step into the appointment heaven set for my life. I will not miss it again. What God has prepared for me will not pass me by. Say it until you believe it. Say it until your spirit rises up. Say it until the atmosphere in your home shifts. Fourth, do 1 generous act each day, even if it's small. Call someone who's lonely. Pray for a neighbor. If you can, give $5 to someone who needs it more than you do. Speak a word of encouragement to a younger person who's struggling. Luke 6:38 promises, "Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap." Generosity in these 3 days is not about what you give. It's about breaking the spirit of hoarding and fear that's been choking your blessings. Now hear me clearly. If you take these days seriously, if you honor this window instead of treating it like just another date on the calendar, the shift won't just be spiritual feel-good talk. It will leave fingerprints on your bank account, your health, your home, and your bloodline. But what happens if you ignore this? What happens if you keep scrolling, keep complaining, keep reconnecting with what God removed? Let me show you exactly what you're about to lose. Let me paint you a picture of what obedience looks like when it collides with divine timing. There was a woman named Ruth. Not the Ruth from the Bible, but a 8-year-old widow from Baltimore who'd been surviving on $1,200 a month Social Security. Her husband died 7 years ago. Her daughter stopped calling 3 years ago, and every morning she woke up wondering if this was all there was left. Just pills, bills, and silence. She heard about a prophetic date, December 16th through 18th. She didn't understand it fully, but something in her spirit said, "Pay attention." So she did something radical. She fasted those 3 days. She prayed. She declared out loud, God, if you have an appointment with me, I'm showing up. December 17th at 2:47 p.m. Her phone rang, a number she didn't recognize. Her daughter's voice on the other end, broken and trembling. Mom, I need to tell you something. I've been carrying anger that was never yours to bear. Can we start over? Within 2 weeks, a former colleague called about a part-time consulting opportunity that paid more in 3 months than her entire year's Social Security. Within 30 days, her doctor couldn't explain why her blood pressure normalized without medication. But here's what shook her to her core. Ruth told me, I didn't get a new life. I got my real life back. The one I thought died with my husband. That's what happens when you honor a divine window. You don't just get a blessing, you get a resurrection. You thought you were reading the last page of your book, but God is actually starting the chapter that makes your entire story make sense. Every tear you cried in secret, it was watering ground for this moment. Every closed door, it was protecting you from settling before your appointed time. Listen to me carefully, chosen one. Some of you will see a door open between December 16th and 18th that's been locked for 10 years. For some, it will be a phone call you stopped expecting. For others, it will be a letter, an opportunity, a release from debt that makes no mathematical sense. Some of you will wake up on December 19th and realize a diagnosis you've been carrying just lost its power. Some will experience reconciliation with a child or grandchild who swore they'd never speak to you again. The form may be different for each of you, but the signature will be the same. Only God could have done this. Proverbs 13:12 says, Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. Your heart has been sick, hasn't it? Sick from waiting, sick from disappointment, sick from watching others walk into breakthroughs while you sat in the same circumstances year after year after year. But what if your tree of life is 3 days away? What if everything you've been praying for has been circling your address, waiting for you to be home when heaven knocks? What if the provision, the healing, the restoration, the vindication has been in transit, and December 16th through 18th is the delivery date? But here's the prophetic truth that's going to shake you. The date isn't magic. Your obedience is the key. Ruth didn't just know about the date, she honored it. She positioned herself. She made herself available. She said yes before she saw the evidence. And that's where most people miss it. They wait to see the miracle before they believe. But God is saying, believe first, then you'll see. Now let me tell you what happens if you ignore it. And this is going to hurt, but you need to hear it. The real cost of ignoring this date isn't just missing a blessing. It's staying in a life God already outgrew for you. It's waking up on December 19th, then January 1st, then next December, still sitting in the same seat, asking the same questions, carrying the same weight. Things may not explode overnight. Your lights won't go out. Your heart will keep beating, but you'll feel something quietly closing. That something is a window, and windows don't stay open forever. Revelation 3:8 records Jesus saying, See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. But notice something. He didn't say the door stays open indefinitely. He said, I have placed. Present tense. Right now, this moment, this window. How many times in your life have you felt a nudge from God and said, later? How many times have you sensed heaven calling your name and you replied, when things settle down? How many prophetic moments have you missed because you were too practical, too tired, too convinced you weren't qualified? I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to wake you up, because on December 19th, I don't want you sitting there wondering, what if I had just said yes? Here's what I need you to understand. This isn't about being perfect. This isn't about having all your theology figured out. This isn't about being young or strong or impressive. This is about showing up. This is about saying, God, I may not understand everything, but I trust you enough to honor this moment. If your spirit is saying right now, this is my window, don't be passive. Don't wait to feel ready. Say it out loud right where you are. Say, I accept this appointment, Lord. And if you can, type it in the comments. Let heaven see your declaration. Let this community witness your yes. Type, I accept my divine appointment on December 16, 17, and 18, because 3 days from now, you're either going to be walking into the breakthrough you've been begging for, or you're going to be explaining to yourself why you let fear talk you out of your moment. The window is open, the invitation is issued. The only question left is this: will you be there when heaven calls your name? Let me tell you something that's going to shake you to your core. There was an invoice sitting on hell's desk with your name on it, line item after line item, calculated down to the penny. And if you had ignored December 16th, 17th, and 18th, that bill was coming due, whether you had the strength to pay it or not. You want to know what was on that invoice? Interest on regret, payable immediately. Years lost to guilt, non-negotiable. Relationships left unreconciled, permanent write-off. Peace of mind, foreclosed. Joy in your final years, repossessed. The enemy wasn't playing games with you, beloved. He had a plan, and that plan was to make you pay for missing your moment with the rest of your life. Think about it. If you had scrolled past this message, if you had dismissed these 3 days as just another winter weekend, where would you be right now? I'll tell you exactly where. You'd be stuck in the same toxic cycle you've been trapped in for the last 5 years. That relative who keeps draining your savings, still calling, still manipulating, still stealing what little security you have left. That bitterness over what your children didn't do, what your spouse never became, what your life should have been, still eating you alive from the inside out. At 65, 70, 75 years old, you don't have decades to recover from missed opportunities. You don't have unlimited chances to get it right. When you're young, you can afford to ignore divine appointments and think, I'll catch the next one. But at your age, this might have been your last train leaving the station. Let me paint you the picture hell wanted for your life. You wake up 6 months from now, same pain, same loneliness, same financial pressure, same sleepless nights wondering if God even remembers your address. But now there's something worse. There's a hardness in your heart that wasn't there before, a resignation, a quiet acceptance that says, this is just how it is, this is how it ends. You stop expecting anything new from God. You stop believing He can surprise you. You stop praying with any real hope and start praying out of religious habit. The fire goes out, not with a bang, but with a whisper, and you spend your final years going through the motions, attending church but feeling nothing, reading your Bible but hearing silence, surrounded by people but drowning in loneliness. That was the bill, chosen one. That was the cost of ignoring prophetic timing. The book of Esther tells us she was called for such a time as this. But what if she had said no? What if she had stayed comfortable in the palace and ignored Mordecai's warning? The Jewish people would have been slaughtered, her entire bloodline erased, and she would have lived the rest of her days knowing she had the power to change everything and chose to do nothing. Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. But here's what most people miss. A season doesn't wait for you to be ready. A season doesn't pause because you're scared or confused or too tired to engage. A season comes and goes whether you participate or not. And when it's gone, it's gone. How many times have you looked back at your life and thought, if only I had known then what I know now? How many doors did you walk past because you didn't recognize them as doors? How many divine appointments did you miss because they didn't look the way you expected? But this time was different. This time you showed up. This time you paid attention. This time you didn't let fear or doubt or weariness steal what God was trying to hand you. And because you showed up, because you didn't ignore these 3 days, something miraculous happened. That invoice hell had ready, it got stamped in red ink, cancelled, paid in full, not by your works, not by your perfection, but by your obedience. You didn't just avoid missing a date, beloved. You avoided paying with your peace, your joy, and your destiny. You avoided spending your final years in regret. You avoided the slow death of a heart that stops believing God can do the impossible. Romans 8:1 declares, "There is therefore now no condemnation to them which are in Christ Jesus." No condemnation, no invoice, no debt. The enemy wanted you to pay for the rest of your life, but Jesus already paid it all. So, if the bill got cancelled, what did heaven release instead? What does paid in full actually look like in your life right now? What changes when you realize you just dodged the bullet that was aimed at your last good years? I'll tell you what happens. Everything shifts. The atmosphere around your life changes. Doors that were sealed start to crack open. Relationships that seemed dead start to breathe again. Financial miracles you stopped praying for start showing up in your mailbox. But most importantly, hope returns. Real hope. The kind that makes you believe your story isn't over, it's just getting to the good part. If you feel in your spirit that God just cancelled some things that were supposed to crush you, if you sense that hell's invoice just got torn in half, write it in the comments right now. Paid in full. You're not bragging, you're testifying. You're declaring that what the enemy meant for destruction, God turned into deliverance. But now we need to talk about what happens next. Because cancelled debt is just the beginning. What heaven releases after the bill is torn up will change everything you thought you knew about your future. Now listen to me carefully, dear one, because what I'm about to tell you might be the most important thing you hear all year. When God shifts something in your life, it doesn't always come with trumpets and earthquakes. Sometimes it comes so quietly that you almost miss it. Your living room looks the same. Your bank account is still tight. Your body still aches when you get out of bed in the morning. But something in the atmosphere has changed. You wake up one morning and there's a peace you can't explain, a stillness that wasn't there before, and you think to yourself, "Am I imagining this?" No, beloved, you're not imagining it. That's a sign. You see, when heaven marks December 16th, 17th and 18th on your calendar, the shift doesn't always announce itself with fireworks. It announces itself with whispers, with small cracks appearing in the walls of your old life, like hairline fractures in concrete that prove something new is pushing through from underneath. Most people miss their moment because they're looking for the grand entrance when God is already working in the subtle details. So let me give you 7 signs that your life just shifted and you didn't even realize it. Pay close attention, because if you're experiencing even one of these, heaven is confirming that something has already begun. Sign number 1. You feel less drawn to argue with people who used to drain you. That cousin who always baits you into political fights, suddenly you just don't care. That neighbor who gossips and pulls you into drama, you smile, nod, and walk away without feeling guilty. That's not you getting older and tired. That's wisdom activating. That's not random. That's a sign. Sign number 2. Old temptations feel dull instead of loud. That thing that used to call your name, that vice that used to have power over you, that habit you couldn't break for 40 years, suddenly it feels boring, uninteresting. You're not even fighting it anymore because the desire just isn't there. 1 Corinthians 10:13 promises that God will make a way of escape. But sometimes the escape isn't a door, it's a loss of appetite for what used to feed your flesh. That's not random. That's a sign. Sign number 3. You get random confirmations, numbers that keep appearing, Bible verses that jump off the page, phrases you hear 3 times in one day from completely different sources. You're scrolling through your phone and you see 12:34, then 3:33, then 4:44. You open your Bible randomly and land on exactly what you needed to hear. Coincidence? No, beloved. When God is moving, He leaves breadcrumbs so you know you're on the right path. Proverbs 3-6 says, "In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your paths." He's directing. Are you noticing? That's not random. That's a sign. Sign number 4. People from your past show up, but you feel a new strength to say no. That ex who used to manipulate you with guilt, They text you out of nowhere. That toxic friend who drained your energy for years. They want to catch up. But here's the difference. You're not falling for it anymore. You have boundaries now. You have clarity. You're not being mean. You're being wise. 2 Timothy 1-7 reminds us, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. That sound mind, it just activated in you. That's not random. That's a sign. Sign number 5. A new idea or dream keeps nudging you. Something you buried 20 years ago because life got hard and you gave up. Something you thought was foolish because you're too old now. But it won't leave you alone. It wakes you up at 2 a.m. It whispers to you while you're washing dishes. It shows up in conversations with strangers. Ecclesiastes 3:11 says, God has set eternity in the human heart. That dream isn't nostalgia, beloved. That's prophecy trying to birth itself through you. That's not random. That's a sign. Sign number 6. Your sleep shifts. You're having different dreams, vivid, clear, full of meaning. Or you're sleeping deeper than you have in years. Or you're waking up at specific times in the night with a sudden urge to pray. Joel 2:28 declares, Your old men shall dream dreams. God speaks in the night when the noise of the world finally stops. If your sleep pattern has changed, it's because heaven is downloading something into your spirit while you rest. That's not random. That's a sign. Sign number 7. A quiet boldness to set boundaries. You're saying no without guilt. You're speaking truth without fear. You're walking away from what no longer serves your purpose without second-guessing yourself. This isn't pride. This is authority. Romans 8:15 says, You did not receive a spirit that makes you a slave again to fear, but you received the spirit of sonship. Sons and daughters don't beg. They decree. That's not random. That's a sign. Now here's what you need to understand, chosen one. When a new season is born, it's fragile. Babies are powerful, but they're also vulnerable. The enemy knows he can't stop what God started, but he will try to smother it early. He'll send distractions, confusion, doubt, people who question your sanity. But if you're seeing these signs, you're already in motion. The shift has already begun. In the comments right now, if any of these signs are already happening in your life, just put the number that hit you, the hardest, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. Let me know what you're seeing, because when you declare it, you're giving heaven permission to accelerate what's already started. But there's something else you need to know about these 3 days that changes everything. Now, listen to me very carefully, because what I'm about to tell you might hurt, but I'd rather wound you with truth than comfort you with lies. The moment heaven activates December 16th, 17th, and 18th in your life, the moment you step into what God has been preparing for you, something's going to happen that will catch you completely off guard. You're expecting celebration. You're hoping for support. You're thinking, finally, my family will see that God's been with me all along. But that's not what happens. What happens is warfare, relational warfare, and it comes from the people closest to you. I'm talking about your adult daughter who only calls when she needs money. Your son who rolls his eyes every time you mention prayer. That sister who's been jealous of you since 1974. That friend from church who makes you feel guilty every time you set a boundary. Your neighbor who laughs at anything spiritual and calls you too religious when you're just trying to survive with your faith intact. You know exactly who I'm talking about, don't you? Here's what the enemy does. He can't touch your calling, so he uses your connections. He can't stop God's plan, so he weaponizes your relationships. And the people he uses most effectively? The ones you love, the ones you trust, the ones whose opinions still matter to you, even when they shouldn't. Think about Job. When everything collapsed around him, when his life turned to ashes, who showed up to make it worse? His wife told him to curse God and die. His 3 best friends accused him of secret sin. The people who should have held him up tried to tear him down. Job 2-9. Then his wife said to him, "Do you still hold fast your integrity? Curse God and die." But here's what you need to understand. They weren't evil, they were being used. There's a difference. Most of the people who will test your new season don't even know they're doing it. They're just uncomfortable with your transformation because it exposes their stagnation. Your test is this: will you go back to who you were just to keep them comfortable? Let me show you the 7 specific ways people will test whether you're serious about this prophetic window. First, they'll hit you with sudden guilt trips. "You used to have time for me, you've changed. You think you're better than us now." No, beloved, you're not better. You're different. And different always looks like betrayal to people who refuse to grow. Second, they'll mock your new habits. You start praying more? Oh, here we go, with the holy roller act. You set boundaries? Since when did you get so selfish? You're more generous because God's blessing you. Must be nice to have money to throw around. They can't celebrate what convicts them. Third, emotional blackmail. After everything I've done for you, I thought we were closer than this. Family is supposed to stick together. Listen to me. Family loyalty doesn't mean sacrificing your destiny to preserve their dysfunction. Fourth, they'll minimize what God told you. You're overthinking this. It's not that deep. You're being dramatic. When Samuel told Eli what God said, Eli could have dismissed it, but he didn't. He recognized God's voice even when it came through a child. 1 Samuel 3:18. So Samuel told him everything and hid nothing from him. Fifth, they'll drag up your past mistakes. Remember when you messed up in 95. Remember when you failed. Remember when you were broke. Remember when you were broken. Yes, you remember. But Romans 8:1 says, "There is therefore now no condemnation to them which are in Christ Jesus." Now means now, not later, not eventually, now. Sixth, they'll pressure you to be realistic. Code 4. Stop believing God can do the impossible in your life. Stop dreaming at your age. Stop hoping for more. Stop expecting breakthrough. But Abraham was 100 when Isaac was born. Moses was 80 when he stood before Pharaoh. Your birth certificate is not God's limitation. Seventh, and this one cuts deepest, they'll question your worth. At your age, why start now? You had your chance, your time passed, you should just accept where you are. That's not wisdom. That's a demon using someone's mouth to abort your destiny before it's fully born. Here's the truth they don't want you to know. The first sign your season changed is not applause. It's resistance. If nobody's pushed back, you probably haven't moved yet. If everyone's still comfortable with you, you're probably still comfortable with yourself. But when you finally obey God, when you finally step through that prophetic window, friction is proof of forward motion. Jesus said it plainly in Matthew 10:36. A man's foes shall be they of his own household, not might be, shall be. It's not a possibility, it's a prophecy. But don't you dare become bitter. Don't you dare build walls around your heart. Don't you dare turn cold because people didn't understand the fire God lit in you. You're being tested to see if you'll guard what heaven gave you without losing your capacity to love what heaven loves. Some people are gatekeepers. They guard your new season. They celebrate your shift. They protect what God is doing even when they don't fully understand it. Keep them close. But some people are pickpockets. They're trying to steal your joy, drain your faith, sabotage your obedience through manipulation disguised as concern. Love them from a distance. The question burning in your spirit right now is this: how do you protect the shift without becoming bitter, hard, or cold, especially at your age? How do you guard your gate while keeping your heart soft? That's exactly where we're going next. Because this isn't just about you, this is about legacy. If you already know who your pickpockets are, you don't have to name them. Just type, "I'm guarding my gate." That's your agreement with God. That's your declaration that this time, you're not trading your destiny for their comfort. Listen to me, beloved. I need you to stop thinking about yourself for just a moment. I know that sounds strange, coming from a message about your divine appointment, your breakthrough, your miracle. But what if I told you something that's going to shake you to your core? December 16th, 17th and 18th were never just about you. What if your obedience on these 3 days isn't only about the miracle you've been praying for? What if it's about breaking a curse your grandchildren don't even know they're carrying? What if your faithfulness in this prophetic window determines whether your great-grandchildren grow up bound or free? You see, the enemy has been playing a long game with your bloodline. He doesn't just attack you, he attacks what comes after you. He's been working overtime to make sure that the addiction, the divorce, the depression, the poverty that's haunted your family tree gets passed down like some sick inheritance to the next generation. But God is saying something different right now. He's saying that one obedient act from one faithful remnant can reverse decades of demonic assignments. One grandmother who shows up for a divine appointment can change the trajectory of her entire lineage. Proverbs 13:22 declares, "A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children." Most people read that verse and think about money. They think about property, bank accounts, retirement funds. But beloved, I'm talking about something far more valuable. I'm talking about spiritual inheritance. I'm talking about breaking generational chains so your grandchildren don't have to fight the same demons you fought. Think about it. How many times have you looked at your adult children and seen them struggling with the same battles you faced? The same anger issues, the same inability to trust, the same financial sabotage, the same relationship patterns that keep repeating like a broken record. You watch them make the same mistakes, fall into the same traps, and you wonder why they can't break free. Because somebody has to stand in the gap. Somebody has to say, "Enough. This ends with me." And I know what some of you are thinking right now. You're sitting there with tears in your eyes, thinking about the mistakes you made as a parent, the times you weren't there, the words you said in anger that you can never take back, the example you failed to set. You're carrying guilt that sits on your chest like a stone, and you've convinced yourself that it's too late to make a difference. Let me tell you something that's going to set you free. Yes, you made mistakes. Yes, you wish you could rewind the clock and do it differently. Yes, there are moments you'd give anything to have back. But you can't change yesterday. What you can change is what gets passed down from this point forward. Ezekiel 18:20 says, "The son will not share the guilt of the father, nor will the father share the guilt of the son." God is giving you a chance to rewrite the spiritual will and testament of your family. Not with money, not with words, but with one act of radical obedience. Because when you show up for December 16th, 17th and 18th, something shifts in the heavenly realms. When you choose to honor a divine appointment, instead of brushing it off like every other day, you're not just positioning yourself for breakthrough. You're positioning your bloodline for freedom. Your grandchildren may never know what you did. They may never understand that the reason they're walking in victory is because their grandmother fell on her knees on 3 specific days and said, "God, use me as the turnaround generation." They may never realize that the reason they don't struggle with the same addictions, the same poverty, the same broken relationships is because you stood in the gap. But heaven knows, and hell knows. This is bigger than you, chosen one. This is about your bloodline. This is about the little girl who hasn't been born yet, who will grow up in a different spiritual climate because you were obedient. This is about the grandson who's going to break the cycle of fatherlessness because his grandfather decided that some chains die with this generation. Maybe right now you're thinking, "But I'm just an older woman living alone in a small apartment. I'm just a retired man with health issues and a fixed income. What difference can I possibly make?" Let me tell you something that's going to blow your mind. In the natural, you might look ordinary, but in the spirit realm, you are the gate your entire family walks through. You are not insignificant. You are not past your prime. You are not just marking time until heaven calls you home. You are the hinge point. You are the turning generation. You are the one who has enough life experience to recognize a divine moment and enough faith left to act on it. Think about Noah. One man's obedience saved his entire family from destruction. Think about the Philippian jailer in Acts 16:31, when Paul told him, "Believe in the Lord Jesus, and you will be saved, you and your household." Your faith has ramifications beyond your own life. So, let me ask you something that's going to cut deep. What if you ignore December 16th, 17th, and 18th? What if you treat these days like every other day? What if you let fear, doubt, or just plain exhaustion talk you out of showing up? You might get by. You might survive. But what about them? What about the children you're praying for right now who are walking away from God? What about the grandchildren struggling with depression? What about the great-grandchildren who haven't been born yet but are already marked by generational patterns? This is your moment to change their story. This is your chance to be remembered not for your mistakes, but for your faithfulness. This is your opportunity to leave behind something more valuable than money. You're leaving behind freedom. If you're believing not just for yourself but for your bloodline, if you're ready to be the generation that breaks the curse and releases the blessing, type right now, "I stand for my family," even if they don't know it yet, even if they don't believe it yet. You stand anyway. Because now that God knows you'll show up for a divine appointment, He can finally trust you with something greater. He can trust you with an assignment that will echo through eternity. But what is that assignment? And why does it require these specific 3 days? Listen to me, chosen one. You think December 16th, 17th, and 18th are just about you finally getting your breakthrough. You think God is opening this prophetic window so you can catch up on what you lost? No. God doesn't schedule divine appointments just to rescue you. He schedules them to recruit you. You've been sitting there for years, thinking your best days are behind you, thinking that at 65, 70, 80 years old, you're supposed to fade quietly into the background while the young ones take over. But let me tell you something that's going to shatter that lie right now. Heaven doesn't see you as retired. Heaven sees you as reassigned. You are not a veteran being put out to pasture. You are a veteran soldier being redeployed as a commander. Think about it. Why do you think you survived everything you survived? Why are you still breathing when others who seemed stronger didn't make it? Why did God let you walk through 40, 50, 60 years of warfare, betrayal, financial collapse, and heartbreak? Because He was training you for this exact moment. David wasn't just a shepherd boy with a slingshot. He spent years in caves, running from Saul, learning how to lead broken men who had nothing left to lose. And when he finally took the throne, those broken men became his mighty warriors. You've been in the cave long enough. It's time to take command. But here's what most people miss. God doesn't promote you from fighter to general just so you can rest. He promotes you because the real battle is just beginning. And this battle requires wisdom only age can provide. It requires discernment only pain can forge. It requires authority only decades of faithfulness can earn. So, let me tell you exactly what God is assigning you to do in this next season. Assignment number 1, intercession. You think prayer is something you do when you've got nothing else to offer? No, prayer is the most dangerous weapon in heaven's arsenal, and God only trusts it with people who know how to use it. You've been through enough to know that some prayers require weight. Some prayers require history with God. Some prayers require the kind of faith that's been tested in fire and came out unshaken. The younger generation is drowning right now. They're making decisions at 25 that will cost them the next 30 years of their lives. They're walking into traps you can see from a mile away because you've already stepped in them. They need your prayers, not the casual bless them prayers, the targeted, specific warfare prayers that come from someone who's been in the trenches and knows how demons operate. Proverbs 16:31 says, "Gray hair is a crown of glory. It is gained in a righteous life." That crown isn't decorative. It's functional. It carries authority in the spirit realm that makes hell nervous. Assignment number 2, mentorship. While everyone else is chasing platforms and building followings, God is calling you to invest in people. One conversation, one honest word spoken at the right time, one moment of truth shared from your story could save someone 10 years of pain. You know what the younger generation needs right now? They don't need another motivational speaker. They need someone who's been through hell and came out still trusting God. They need to see wrinkles that tell stories of faithfulness. They need to hear voices that have been broken and restored. They need proof that it's possible to survive what feels unsurvivable. 1 Timothy 5:1 says, "Do not rebuke an older man harshly, but exhort him as if he were your father." Why? Because older believers carry something the young ones need, perspective that only comes from walking with God through decades of fire. Assignment number 3. Stewardship of blessing. If God releases financial breakthrough to you during this prophetic window, and many of you are about to experience exactly that, He's not giving it to you so you can finally live comfortable. He's giving it to you because He knows you won't waste it on foolishness. He knows you've learned what matters. He knows you'll steward it with wisdom instead of fear. You're not getting a blessing to hoard. You're getting resources to deploy, to support kingdom work, to fund what God is building, to be the answer to someone else's desperate prayer. Luke 16:10 says, "Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much." You've been faithful with little for decades. Now watch what God does when He finally trusts you with much. Let me say this again because you need to hear it until it rewrites every lie you've believed about yourself. You are not done. You are deployed. You are not a leftover, you are a leader. You are not forgotten. You are being positioned. God didn't just keep you alive to fill space. He kept you alive to take territory. And the moment you step into this assignment, the moment you say yes to being redeployed as a general in God's army, something shifts in the spirit realm. Hell doesn't just realize they failed to stop you. They realize they accidentally upgraded you. They realize that every attack they sent to destroy you actually equipped you. They realize that the veteran they thought was defeated is actually the commander who's about to dismantle their entire operation. But here's the question that will determine everything. Are you willing to accept a new assignment at your age? Are you ready to stop living like a victim and start operating like a general? Are you ready to stop asking God why He let you go through so much and start using what you learned to set others free? If you're willing to be deployed, say it out loud right now. Lord, deploy me. That's your yes. That's your acceptance of the assignment. That's your declaration that you're not done yet. But the moment you make that declaration, you need to understand something. The enemy is watching. And when he sees a seasoned warrior step back onto the battlefield with decades of experience and fresh anointing, he doesn't retreat quietly. He mobilizes for the final showdown. Chosen one, as we come to the end of this sacred moment together, I need you to remember 3 things that will anchor your soul in the days ahead. First, December 16th, 17th, and 18th are not just dates on a calendar. They are divine appointments written in heaven's ledger before time began. God has been circling these days in your life, waiting for the moment when you would finally be ready to receive what He's prepared. Second, you are not too old, too late, or too broken to be used by God. Every year you've lived, every battle you've fought, every tear you've cried has been preparing you for this exact moment. You're not retiring, you're being redeployed. You're not a leftover, you're a leader. And third, you are not walking this path alone. The same God who kept you alive through every storm is still working in your life right now. He hasn't brought you this far to abandon you. Romans 8:31 reminds us, if God is for us, who can be against us? That's not just a verse, that's your reality. And beyond God's presence, you have a community right here. Thousands of chosen ones just like you, carrying the same calling, feeling the same fire, walking the same narrow road. So let me ask you this final question. Knowing what you now know about these prophetic dates, knowing what God is assigning you to do, knowing that your greatest chapter is still ahead. What will you do with December 16th, 17th, and 18th? Before you leave this sacred space, join me in prayer. Place your hand on your heart right now, and let me speak over your life. Heavenly Father, I lift up every precious soul watching this message. You know their names, you know their struggles, you know the battles they fought in silence. Lord, I pray that during December 16th, 17th, and 18th, you would meet them in ways they've never experienced before. Open doors no man can shut. Heal wounds time hasn't touched. Restore what the enemy has stolen. Give them strength for the journey, wisdom for the decisions, and courage to step into their assignment. Protect their families, their health, their finances. Surround them with your presence. Let them feel your hand on their shoulder during their darkest moments. And Lord, let these 3 days mark the turning point in their story, the moment when everything changed. In Jesus' mighty name, Amen. Now, I want to hear from you. Comment below and tell us what God spoke to your heart today. Share your prayer requests. This community will surround you with intercession. And if this message touched your soul, share it with someone who needs to hear that their prophetic window is opening. Thank you for staying with me through this entire journey. Thank you for opening your heart to receive what heaven wanted to pour into you. If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. Your breakthrough is coming, and we'll be here walking with you every step of the way. December 16th, 17th, and 18th. Your divine appointment awaits. God bless you, chosen one. Your story isn't over, it's just beginning.